Welcome to another tech help video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I am your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to select multiple invoices to print at one time. This will allow you to batch print invoices or select all of a particular customer's invoices to be printed and stuff like that. Benjamin from Longview, Texas, one of my platinum members, asks, I've been using your invoicing database for quite some time now, and it's very helpful. Thank you. You're welcome. Is there any way that I can print multiple invoices at one time? We enter invoices throughout the week, and I'd like to be able to mail them out every Friday. It would be nice to just hit the print button, and it sends them all to the printer instead of just having to print them individually. Yes, Benjamin, we got to make a couple of changes to the invoice report in the Tech Help database, but it's definitely doable. Let me show you how. Now, this is going to be an expert level video, so there's no programming involved, but it's a little bit beyond the basics. So, what do you got to know to get started? Well, first, if you have not yet watched my invoicing video, go watch this. It's where I show you how to build the order entry system and the invoice report. So that's what this video is based on. If you haven't watched this yet, go watch it right now. Go watch my grouping video. This is how you turn on grouping levels in your Microsoft Access reports. We're going to have to group them together in order to print them out in batches. So this is very important. Go watch this video too. And if you don't know how to make an update query, go watch this video next. Essentially, when we're all done printing our invoices, we're going to click a button that's going to say, all right, mark all of the invoices that we just printed as having been printed. And we'll use an update query to do that. Now, these are all free videos. They're on my website. They're on my YouTube channel. You'll see links down below. You can click on them. They'll be down in the description under the video. So go look for them there. All right, go watch those videos and come on back. Okay, here I am in my Tech Help free template. This is a free database you can download off my website if you want a copy. I've made a couple of minor modifications to it since I recorded the invoicing video, but nothing major. It's still the same thing. Here's your customer. Here's your orders. If you want to print this invoice, you click the invoice button. And there it is. It goes to print preview, right? Close it. And then that's everything. Now, in order to batch print these guys, we're going to have to change some things around. Right now, what happens is when you make an invoice, okay, there's a query, the order invoice queue, that basically looks at the order ID for the currently open order. If you go into the order invoice queue, which is what the report is based on, right? Remember this from the video. All right, if you scroll all the way to the right over here, here's where it gets its criteria from, right? The order ID of the current order on forms order F order ID, which is this guy. So when this query runs, it brings up just that order ID, in this case, 1. Well, what we need to do is change that criteria to allow the user to pick any number of invoices that he wants to generate. So we'll add a yes/no field to the order table. All right. So we'll go to order T, right click, design view, right down here. We'll call it to be printed. We'll make that a yes/no value. And I'm going to default that to yes. So when we generate new orders, when we put new invoices in the system, right, by default, they'll be marked to be printed until we actually run a print job. And then when we're done, we're going to click a button that's going to mark them all as having been printed. We'll get to that later. All right. So save that. Let's go to the data sheet view and just mark a few of these to be printed. This one, that one, this one, just a couple random ones. It doesn't matter. Okay. Now close it. Come back in the form. Go to the order form, and we're going to add a checkbox right there. Same thing. In fact, I'm going to borrow this guy. Copy, paste, slide it up here. All right, we'll just call this. We could just put on the label here, to print, or whatever. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to put the whole thing. All right, that's the to print. We got to change its properties. Double click on it. All right, we're going to go to all. Change this from is paid to be printed. Copy and paste that over the name too, right? All right, so now we've got it on the form as well. And if you open up the order form, you'll see that one's to be printed. And that one's not to be printed, for example. All right. Now we're going to go to that order invoice queue, and we're going to change this guy so that, let me turn this thing off, so that instead of looking at that order ID, all right, instead of order ID, it's going to look at the to be printed field. So I'm going to get rid of this, delete that column, and bring in to be printed. Okay, and make the criteria true. Now there's already a to be printed in this query, right? Because I brought in the order t.star. So let's not show it. That hides duplicates. I talked about that in the other video too. And if you run this now, you'll see that we have all of the orders that are marked to be printed. All right, see this column here, to be printed, that should all be true. Okay, and yeah, if you want to also to be paid, right? If it's paid or not, that's up to you. You can, print all the ones that are paid or not paid or whatever. You can add more criteria if you want. I'm just going to print them all. All right, so save this query now and close it. Now, if I go to print an invoice now, look what I get. All right, I get everything all grouped together in one invoice. All of the items for all of those invoices are together in the same report. Let me resize this a little bit so you can see this. Look at that. There's 2 whole pages of it, $43,000 worth of stuff. Why is that? Well, because the way that this order report is designed, let me shut this down for just a second here. The way it's designed is everything is grouped together, right? All of the details are coming in from this entire query, all of this stuff. So what we have to do is we have to add a grouping level and group this by what field? What do you think? Each one should be a unique order, right? So all of order 1 shows up together, then all of order 2's items show up together, and then all of order 5's items, and so on. So we have to add a grouping level to group this based on whatever field you want to group on, in this case, order ID. All right, so let's go back and turn that grouping thing on that was just up there a second ago. So go to Report Design, Group and Sort. This is what we want down here. We're going to add a group, and I cover this in the grouping video, right? Add a group. We're going to group on order ID. Okay, hit the More button over here. All right, we do want a header section, and we also want a footer section. So change that to with a footer section. So now we have a group header, there's the order ID header, and we have a group footer. There's the order ID footer. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to take everything out of the report header and this page header, and we're going to stick that in the order header. We want this to repeat on the top of each order, right? It'll have the customer information and the order information, and this on top of each page. And then the detail section will stay as it is, and then the report footer stuff is going to go in the group footer up here. Okay, it's a little confusing because yes, the group footer is actually going to be above the page footer in design view, but when the report generates it, it flips it. It's a little counterintuitive, but it just takes a little getting used to. All right, so first thing is we can actually close this now. Don't hit that. That will delete the group. I hate the way that they look like each other. I'm just going to close this to close that group pane, all right, because it takes up a lot of space. All right. So first thing is we're going to cut all of this stuff out up here. See what I did right there? I put your mouse over here on the ruler, click and drag. I'm going to grab all of those controls, cut them out, Control X, snip. All right, we can shrink up the report header now and then make the order ID header bigger. Click in here. You'll see this is highlighted now, and then paste. Okay, maybe slide those over just a little bit like they were, like that. Okay. Make that a little taller now. Now we're going to take this page header and we're going to cut this out of here. Control X, shrink that up. Then we're going to paste it down here. It's going to come in up top like that. That's okay. Click and drag and slide them down. And this is why in my full courses, I take a lot of time going over how to move these controls around and cutting and pasting them. And there's some repetition, yeah, but you really get the feel for how this stuff works. And a lot of it is just practice. You just got to play with it. All right, so this is going to repeat at the top of each order. All right, and down here now, the stuff that's in the report footer, our total and our notes, we're going to cut that out too. Select all that, cut it, shrink that section up, come into the order ID footer and paste it in there, and then slide it over like that. All right, you with me? In fact, if you want to at this point, you can even turn off the report header, the page header, and the report footer. All right, let's save it, close it, and let's take a look at what happens when we print one of them now. Okay, it's looking better. What do we got here? We've got one invoice here. That's order 1. All right, then right below it, we got order 2. It's a different invoice. That's fine. All right, it's a little hard because my screen's small, but let me resize. Okay, let's go to the next page. All right, there's the next order 5. Okay, it's looking better. The next thing I want to do is I want to force a new page after each order, right? So I'm going to come back into design view. So after each order ID footer, I want to force a new page. So open up the properties here, double click, find the force new page. Make sure you're in the section, right? The group footer 1 section, and change that to after section. That says after this section draws, force a new page. Okay, save it, close it, open it back up again, and there we go. Okay, looking even better now. There's one invoice. All right, and if you go to the next page, there's the next invoice, and the next invoice, and the next invoice. And then you can probably guess what my next change is, these stupid alternating colors. We didn't need to worry about it before, but we got to turn those guys off. So in here, in this section, because they're new sections now, right? Open them up. Alternating back color is going to be set to none for the header and for the footer. There you go. All right, close it, save it. Ready? Here we go. Invoice. I hate how this thing keeps popping up. All right, looks good, looks good, looks good. Okay. Now we got a whole bunch of different invoices in here. We got all the ones that are marked to be printed. Now, a couple little things. First thing is, down here on the bottom, your page number. All right, it still says page 1 of 7. And if you're going to print these out for each of your customers, you don't want your customer getting page 4 of 7. So your options basically are you can delete that off of there, or you can reset that page number. But resetting that page number involves 1 line of VB code. And I promised there wouldn't be any programming, any coding in this video. So do you want me to show it to you or not? What do you think? Okay, you talk me into it. It's bonus time. It's bonus code time. Now, if you don't want to have to deal with any programming, just skip this part, okay? But if you're curious and you want to see how this works, all right, go watch my intro to VBA class first. It's 20 minutes long. It's free. It'll teach you all the basics, everything you need to know to get started with VBA. All right, it's literally 1 line of code to get this to work. All right, but if you don't want to deal with this, all you have to do is just delete that. All right, just come into here and just delete this field, and you won't have to see it. You won't get a page number on your thingy either, but deal with it. All right, so here's the 1 line of code that you need. All right, the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to come in here and you're going to have to get rid of the of part of it. This will only unfortunately work with just the page number. All right, the total number of pages, so it says page 1 of 2, 1 of 3, and so on. That is possible, but that's a lot more in depth and it requires a lot more code. And I will show that in the extended cut for the members. But for everybody else, I'm going to show you just how to put the single page number there. Okay. So up in the page, in the order ID header, we basically have to say, hey, reset the page number to 1 every time this thing is drawn. So right click here, go to build event. All right. That'll bring up your VB editor. Okay. And literally all you have to say in here is page equals 1. That's it. You're done. Page is a variable representing the page number, and you can change that if you want to. So now what happens is close this, close it, save it, open it back up again. And now every time that group header runs, it's resetting the page number. See if I go to the next page, it still says page 1, page 1, page 1, page 1. Now, if you do have a really long invoice, all right, let's take this guy's invoice here. Okay, copy. I'm going to just make it longer. Paste, paste. All right, go on to page 2 here. Paste. Okay, go back into here. All right. Oh, it's still on the page 1 here. Let's make it even longer. copy, make sure it's got 2 pages worth of stuff, and paste. All right, invoice. Okay, it's nice and long now. Let's go to page 2, and you can see this says page 2 now. Okay, and there's your total. Now when I go to the next one, it reset to page 1 because the order header was drawn again. All right, that's what that build event does. So when the group ID header runs, it resets the page number to 1. Okay, keeping track of that page total number of pages is a lot more involved. Again, extended cut. Okay, so now we've got our invoice. All right, we can come in here, click invoice. It'll generate all of our invoices. Okay, there they are. Right? Looks good. Okay, now when we close this, we need a way to mark them all as having been printed because I don't want to have to come back in here into the order table and go, okay, click, 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 click. So we can use an update query to do that. That's why I wanted you to go watch the update query thingy. All right. So let's create query design, bring in your order table. We're going to bring in the to be printed field. We don't need to bother with the criteria, right? Just change this to update query. Update to is going to be false. This will just take everybody in the database and reset them to false. If you want to put criteria true in there, that's fine. It might speed up the query a teeny tiny bit if you got tens of thousands of records, but generally it won't. All right, and we can save this update query as order marked printed queue or update queue or whatever you want to call it. Okay, now you can either run this guy manually if you want to, or you can make yourself a button here to do it. You can make the button without code if you want to, right? Form design, grab a button, drop it on the form. It's going to be miscellaneous, run query, then pick your query, this guy. All right. I'm going to cancel this though, because I don't like using the wizard. I don't like the embedded macros. So just finish running through that, or you can use one line of VB code. Okay. Mark invoices printed is the caption on our button. I know I said there'd be no code, but I can't help it. Once you learn a little tiny bit of programming, it makes things so much better. Make your button, give it a good name. Mark invoices printed button, whatever you want to call it. Right click, build event. Right in here, do command dot open query, and then order marked printed queue. And that'll run that query. And you can even say message box done. Okay, save it, close it, close it. And yes, for those of you who know SQL, you can do the SQL right inside the code if you want to without even making a query. And now in your main menu, mark them printed, done. And now go into your order table and they're all marked printed. Okay. So that's it. So now you can, if you want to, you can make yourself an order list. Like I got the customer list here. You can make a list of all of your orders. I have that in the member database. But you can go through now and just, if you want to print a bunch of orders, like for this customer, mark that one to be printed, go in here, mark that one to be printed, close that, go into, there's like Jordy's invoice, if he's got one, let's see. Yeah, he's got one, mark that to be printed. Okay. And now when you're ready to print, just go into any one of them. And now you can actually make a print all these orders button right on your main menu if you want to. Print all pending invoices. It's the same thing. Just open this report. Right? Do command open report. And it will have all of these right in here. Right? There's 1, 2, and 3. And then when you're all done, close them up, mark them printed, and you're done. If you want to learn more about this stuff, I cover building a printable invoice report in a lot more detail in my Access Expert Level 9 class. I actually show you another method too, which is involving subreports, which is another way to do it. There's lots of different ways to do this, and my full database in my full course covers lots more stuff too, like sales tax, discounts, all that kind of stuff. So we go into a lot more detail in the full course, of course. Now, if you want to join the 21st century and you're done mailing invoices, if you want to send them by email, I have a free tech help video that shows you how to send emails. I show them one at a time in the free version, and in the extended cut for the members, I show you how to send mass email, okay, using Microsoft Outlook. You can do the same thing. You can use the techniques that I showed you in this class, and you can send a batch of them out instead of just one at a time. I also have a full email seminar that shows you pretty much everything you need to know about sending any kind of email, including building your own email server in Access in the email seminar. So check that out too. All right, so what are we going to talk about in the extended cut? Well, first off, instead of having to make a separate button to mark everything printed, we're going to have it so that when you close the report, it says, oh, you're done. Okay, would you like to mark all the invoices as printed? Okay, sure. Then if there are no invoices to be printed and you try to print them, it'll give you a friendly message. Instead of right now, if you try to print it and there is nothing marked to be printed, it will give you an error message, which I didn't cover, but trust me, it will. Then we'll see how to quick print a single invoice. All right. And then the big thing, I'll show you how to do page X of Y across multiple groups. In other words, if you've got 2 or 3 page invoices in there, I'll show you how to make it say page 1 of 2 inside the groups, inside your reports. It requires a bit of code, but we'll go over it in the extended cut for members. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut videos, and gold members get access to the code vault and can download these databases. So check it out. But this has been your tech help video for today. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and click on the bell icon to select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Make sure you click the Show More link down below the video to find additional resources and links. You'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted, so if you'd like to get an email every time I post a video, click on the link to join my mailing list. Even if you don't want to become a member, feel free to donate to my tip jar. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got puppies to feed. How do you become a member? Click on the Join button below the video. After you click the Join button, you'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks. Silver members and up will get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, 1 free beginner class each month, and more. Gold members get access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus my code vault, where I keep tons of different functions that I use. You'll also get a higher priority if you decide to submit any tech help questions to me, and you'll get 1 free expert class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks, plus even higher priority for tech help questions, access to all of my full beginner courses for every subject, and 1 free developer class each month after you finish the expert classes. These are the full-length courses found on my website, not just for Access too. I also teach Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and lots more. You can now become a Diamond sponsor and have your name or company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown in each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. But don't worry, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access. It's over 4 hours long, and I just updated it for 2021. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below that you can click on. And also, if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. Yep, that's all, $1, and it's free for all members of my YouTube channel at any level, even supporters. Want to have your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page on my website. You can send me your question there. While you're on my site, feel free to stop by the Access Forum. Lots of good conversations happening there. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Once again, my name is Richard Ross. Thank you for watching this tech help video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something today. I'll see you again soon.